Local residents in Munich are coming to the Olympia shopping centre to lay flowers and candles where the attack took place. 9 people have died from their wounds and at least 27 other people were injured.
Wir alle, und das sage ich auch im Namen der ganzen Bundesregierung.
We all, and I say this on behalf of the entire German government, we are all mourning with a heavy heart for those who will never return to their families. To the families, parents and children for whom everything now seems empty and meaningless, I say personally and on behalf of many people in Germany, we share your pain. We're thinking of you. We suffer with you.
The youngest known victim was 14 years old. Many of them were under 20. The 18-year-old perpetrator of dual German-Iranian citizenship was not known to police and did not have any known links to terror organizations, but they say he was being treated for depression. It's understood he used Facebook in the hours before the attack to encourage people to head to the shopping centre. After searching his room in the property where he lived with his parents, police say they found a book titled "Why Kids Kill" inside the minds of school shooters, and they believe the attacker was obsessed with school massacres. The people of Munich are struggling to come to terms with the attack.
I believe that whether it's Berlin or Munich, it won't be the last time. I think that there will always be this kind of thing.
It's horrible. It's dreadful. We are still in shock. I don't know which of my friends that were out there shopping in the mall with their kids, and I don't know who experienced it, who was there. It is dreadful, and I can't reach anyone.
One of the main questions now being asked is how an 18-year-old diagnosed with depression was able to get hold of the 9mm pistol used in the attack in Germany, a country with stringent gun ownership laws.
And finally, hundreds of people have taken to the streets of Paris to protest the death of a young man. Demonstrators for the 4th consecutive day have demanded justice for Adama Traoré, 24-year-old, who died in custody on Tuesday in the town of Beaumont-sur-Oise. French authorities say that an autopsy report revealed that he was suffering from a serious infection at the time of his death. Officials added that his body showed few signs of violence. He was reportedly captured after interfering in the arrest of his brother. The lawyer of Traoré's family says that he will seek a second autopsy before his burial. His death has sparked a wave of protests which resulted in clashes in his town and nearby suburbs.
Across Philadelphia, signs of heightened security as the city prepares for the Democratic National Convention, and tens of thousands of people, from people jumping fences to demonstrations to large-scale threats, the vehicle attack in France, the sniper in Dallas, little's being left to chance.
It is a little bit of an unusual year in kind of the fights, the political fights that have gone on, and that's certainly something that's taken into account.
During the Republican National Convention in Cleveland, federal officials restricted road, air, and water travel. In Philadelphia, there are similar restrictions. Around convention sites, cars will be swept for explosives. Police plan to use rolling street closures and uniformed officers to protect protest areas. There is also increased security around mass transit. In this city steeped in history, this is a history-making week.
On this podium, next week you will see a stark contrast to what you saw in Cleveland this week.
After Cleveland, the nation's eyes are here.
India's military has launched a massive search operation to locate its aircraft that went missing over the Bay of Bengal. The AN-32 aircraft with 29 people on board took off from Chennai City in southern India Friday morning on a routine sortie to Port Blair. The plane went missing about 300 kilometers east of Chennai. 3 aircraft, several ships, and a submarine have been deployed to search for the plane. The Indian Air Force operates more than 100 Russian-made AN-32s.
A peaceful march by members of the minority Hazara population through Afghanistan's capital, Kabul, ended in bloodshed when one of the ISIL terrorists detonated a suicide vest.
I was sitting right before right there, and my mother and sister and my little brother was sitting right there, down there. When the explosion happened, everything was demolished. Everybody was dead. Everybody was like laying down on the street. They were very, very, very. This was a very shocking situation that I have ever seen.
The attack took place in a square where thousands of people had gathered to protest a new power line bypassing their area. The scene here today is one of deep mourning as the people here who earlier came to protest a democratic right to have their voice heard by the Afghan government about an electricity line turned into a site of carnage, one of the biggest attacks we've seen in Kabul. Afghan officials say the terrorists infiltrated the peaceful crowd to carry out the attack.
Then we had many people injured, many people killed, and as you see, witness under this flag, there are all blood on the road, yeah?
ISIL was quick to claim responsibility. Members of the Hazara community blamed the Afghan government, which, they say, has long discriminated against them.
Today we came out asking for justice, very peacefully, but last night the government warned us that if you come out, we will kill you. And today, they really killed us.
The president of Afghanistan went on television to declare that Sunday will be a day of national mourning.
UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon warns that the ISIL terror group known as Daesh could expand its presence in North Africa given that Libyan forces are tightening the noose around the terrorists in their stronghold of Sirte. In a confidential report to the UN Security Council, Ban Ki-moon stated that the ISIL's looming defeat in Libya could force it to relocate its members to other areas inside and outside the war-torn country. Ban noted that geographically dispersed cells set up by the ISIL might be an issue of concern. Libya's UN-backed government has for months been battling to recapture the coastal city of Sirte from Daesh. Ban said the fighting has already pushed dozens of terrorists to flee into Tunisia, where they're planning to create a new base.
The United Nations Security Council has authorized UN states to help Libya dispose of its chemical weapons stockpile. In a unanimously adopted British drafted resolution, the 15-member Security Council determined that the potential for acquisition by non-state actors of chemical weapons in Libya represents a threat to international peace and security. Libya has roughly 700 tons of precursor chemicals known as Category 2 chemical weapons currently stored in a temporary storage site north of the country. The Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons is helping Libya come up with a modified plan to destroy the chemicals.
Now, North Korea is reportedly building a fortified structure on its eastern coast that appears to be two covered docks that could house bigger and better ballistic missile submarines. British-based IHS Jane's Defence Weekly says the base, located a couple of kilometres south of the port city of Sinpo, could be the biggest active military building project in the whole of North Korea. It says commercial satellite imagery shows construction could have started as long ago as 2009. Sinpo port is where North Korea keeps its 2,000-ton submarine. The regime has test-fired numerous submarine-launched ballistic missiles from this submarine over the past several months.
A U.S. Policy Institute says it may have located a secret facility used by North Korea in the early stages of building its program to enrich uranium for nuclear weapons. If confirmed, that would be critical to the success of any future nuclear deal.
A U.S.-based research institute says it may have pinpointed one of North Korea's secret facilities for enriching uranium used in its nuclear bombs. The Institute for Science and International Studies said Thursday the facility is located some 43 kilometers west of the Yongbyon nuclear facility. It's believed to be within an aircraft parts factory built into a mountain next to Pangyon Air Base, making it easier to hide nuclear activity. Although the institute said there's no evidence the facility is still operational, it pointed out the place may also have been used to research construction of the Yongbyon nuclear facility from the 1990s to early 2000. North Korea revealed its uranium enrichment facility at Yongbyon to a U.S. scientist in 2010, insisting the North does not have any other production-scale gas centrifuge plants. However, many North Korea watchers have remained skeptical of the claim, and many predict Pyongyang has been attempting to construct more uranium enrichment facilities ever since a 1994 agreement between the U.S. and North Korea in Geneva.
The Ministry of Civil Affairs says more than 14 million people in 10 provinces across northern China have been affected by natural disasters. So far, 132 people have been killed and 113 remain missing. Nearly 500,000 people have been relocated and nearly 110,000 are in urgent need of life assistance. The disasters also devastated a large number of houses and crops, causing about 22 billion yuan worth of economic losses. Hebei, Shanxi and Henan provinces were the most severely hit.
Well, much of the nation is being smothered by what forecasters call a heat dome. From coast to coast, temperatures are well above 90, even above 100 in many places. In the west, dangerous heat killed a 12-year-old boy hiking in Phoenix. The heat is also fueling wildfires. Here's Carter Evans.
Flames broke out along a busy freeway north of Los Angeles at the height of the heat wave. This view from an LA County fire helicopter shows fire engines arriving on scene.
Look at that. That is some ingenuity right there. He's got one of the big nozzles just driving along, trying to put that fire out.
But temperatures up to 110 degrees and strong wind gusts made it impossible for firefighters to stop the massive wall of flames. Hundreds had to evacuate, including Curtis Bell.
And it was just like in the movies where fire and smoke around. It absolutely looked like the apocalypse.
Firefighters tracked the flames from the air as they ripped through miles of drought-dried brush. LA Fire Captain Daniel Curry.
This is just an example of a dry plant, and you can just grab it and break it, and you can see there's just no moisture in this whatsoever.
That goes up like that.
Right.
Virus hits home for a family here in New York. Their newborn is the first baby born in the city with the shrunken head syndrome.
Yeah, obviously we are very saddened by this news.
Confirmation today of the first baby born in New York with microcephaly, the birth defect directly linked to the Zika virus that causes severe brain damage and shrunken skulls in newborns.
I think having a baby born in our city who has been diagnosed with this condition should make real for all of us the fact that this is not a theoretical risk. It is a risk that affects us right here in New York City.
Dr. Mary Bassett, the health commissioner, confirms the baby was born Thursday, but would not release the child's or the mother's name. She says the woman contracted the mosquito-borne virus while traveling in a Zika-affected area of the Caribbean or Latin America, not from a mosquito here in New York. So far, more than 40 pregnant women have tested positive for Zika here in the city, and that has some other women worried.
It is concerning only because you don't want it to be something that's spread, and that's hard to really deal with.
The Centers for Disease Control reports 12 newborns with Zika-related microcephaly nationwide through July 14th, and 6 more women lost their babies due to the virus.
New numbers today about West Nile virus, and it's shaping up to be a bad year. KPIX5 reporter Emily Turner got the numbers, and they took a lot of people by surprise.
They did, and it's already a bad year for the entire state. Here, our season for mosquitoes is just beginning, but we're already seeing numbers pop in, and you know what? It's concerning considering what else is happening in California. While much of the world worries about Zika, Bay Area vector controls say there's actually another mosquito-borne illness that Californians should be more concerned about: West Nile. There have been twice as many positive test samples than this same time last year.
Right now, it's a typical year for us in terms of West Nile virus. However, in California, there are some areas where West Nile virus is really quite active.
So active that 896 mosquito samples have tested positive for West Nile in California so far this year. Last year, at this same time, only 497 samples tested positive. Marine Garden Supply owner Kevin Sadlier says mosquito control is a major concern of his customers. Is this a top seller?
It's a big seller now because of the concerns about
Zika and West
Nile.
In Marin, where Kevin's business is, 2 dead birds have been reported with West Nile this year, 1 each in Alameda and Solano counties, 4 in Contra Costa, 2 in San Mateo, and the most, by far, is in Santa Clara County, with 38 dead birds. Vector Control doesn't know why the state numbers are so high, but say they and locals alike plan to be prepared.
Absolutely, I'd be concerned about it, and I think everyone should be concerned, and I think everyone should be aware of it and the potential danger there.
Check that out. Oh, it's gonna hit the tip of the plane. Oh.